Peter's List of Impossible Things by Angeeelatin. The Video Journal of Peter Parker. Chapter 2. Climbing a Tree. A few weeks later, Peter decides to shoot his first video. The video starts with a shot of a grinning Peter wearing his typical attire, a science pun t-shirt and jeans. He was sitting on a chair by his window in his apartment. In the background, plants can be seen decorating the place, giving it a homey and lived-in look. Hello everyone, this is Peter Parker and I have a serious matter to discuss today. My best friend, aka Ned, said that an essential part of your childhood is climbing a tree, without powers. Well, drawing out the last word, Peter looked at the camera with a serious face. I've never climbed a tree. I know, what utter blasphemy. Today I shall rectify this wrongdoing. I have consulted with an expert. Slowly the camera zooms out, revealing Peter holding a fat, fluffy tabby cat. Everyone, say hello to Terry. Today, Terry has graced us with his presence to be our expert. Peter then holds Terry out to the camera in a way that was reminiscent of The Lion King. Expert, do you have any advice for our audience? In the background, a loud, drawn-out meow could be heard. At this, Peter looks at the cat proudly, like a mother would her child. Why, thank you for that advice, Terry. Looking straight at the camera, Peter says, I am now armed with knowledge straight from an expert. I am ready for battle. Let's do this. Peter is seen walking along the streets in New York. He is holding his phone with his right hand and talking enthusiastically and doing hand motions for emphasis with his shiny metal arm. Okay, before we do this, I should tell you that I just realised I don't have a tree anywhere near my apartment. Which, now that I think about it, should be obvious since I live in New York, but whatever. Anyways, you'll have to give me a hot minute before we can climb a tree. Instead, I'll tell everyone about what I'm currently doing. The camera switches view and buildings and cars become visible. Peter appears to be approaching a park. Now, we're going to a nearby park, and hopefully no one from my school or the Avengers notice. I'm not really supposed to be out, because I'm still healing and all that. Peter pauses, then shrugs. I know, it looks bad. I just got outfitted with this arm 2 weeks ago, so I'm slightly used to it, but they told me to play it safe. We're going to ignore that advice. Rest? Who is she? Don't know her. Plus, I'm nearly back to full health. I did some pull-ups just yesterday and didn't feel too bad. The scene opens with Peter in front of a thin-looking tree. It obviously looks like it won't be able to handle Peter's weight. However, Peter is blissfully oblivious to this information. Hello, I am now at the park and I found a tree. See? Now, according to Terry, I just meow, which basically means act like a cat. How do I do that, I ask? Well, I'm going to hang on to this branch and hope for the best. I guess. The next few seconds shown are scenes of Peter climbing the tree and falling, then cuts back to Peter holding the camera. That tree let me down. It gave up on me. We're going to find a much more macho tree. Give me a second. Peter can now be seen grinning next to a tree that looks strong and sturdy. Okay, I'm sure that this tree will be able to survive my presence. It's thick, with 4 C's, so it should, probably, handle my weight. Unlike that other one, it bowed down to me, failed me. See, this is why I have trust issues. Anyways, I'm gonna go climb this tree and I'll tell you how it goes. Should be easy, right? It'll be just like climbing a building. Peter appears looking dishevelled and dirty, with an obviously sore, faintly red left arm. His hair looks like a bird's nest, messy and full of what looks like small twigs and leaves. Behind him, you could see the sun setting. It's been a few hours. I didn't do it. Climbing a tree is hard, guys. It's definitely not the same as climbing buildings. I spent the whole afternoon trying to climb it. The whole afternoon. Didn't do it. Nah, nada. Zero progress. Peter pauses, horror dawning on his face. Guys, people saw me, in the park, trying to climb a tree and failing. Me, Spider-Man, guy who swings from buildings. They saw me fail at climbing a tree. I swear I noticed a woman and her kid staring at me the whole time. Peter made a sound that sounded suspiciously like a broken blender. You don't understand. I'll never be able to face anyone if they knew. Maybe I just won't reveal my identity. Damn, I need to change my career or rethink my whole life. Maybe both. I don't know. My arm is sore too. Peter holds up his left arm. It had various twigs sticking out of the joints. I feel like my whole left side is on fire. Anyway, this one was fun though, all things considered. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Maybe try not to do this when you're recovering from a recent amputation and getting used to a new arm, but overall it was a-okay. As Peter finishes editing the video for his personal files, Terry came trotting into the room, looking like the king he is. He didn't actually have to edit the videos, but he wanted a souvenir and something to be able to watch when he looks back in the future. Stroking the Flurkin as he passes by, Peter asks him, "What do you think I should have done differently, Terry?" His cat merely looks at him with flat eyes, almost as if trying to tell him, maybe don't be stupid? Which, that was fair. Honestly, he still couldn't believe that he couldn't actually climb the tree to the top. Logically, Peter understands that it was because he wasn't fully healed up yet. He didn't have any experience. He practically just jumped onto a branch and hoped for the best while shimmying up. Plus, he probably shouldn't do some things physically, but the only thing that comes into his brain is, failure. You're a failure. You can't even climb a tree. How do you plan to save others, huh? God, you're pathetic. Maybe if you just die. Suddenly, Terry cuts his thoughts off with a loud meow, usually a sign that he was hungry. Moving to feed the cat, he fills up the food bowl and calls for it to eat. Expecting him to start eating, Peter settles back on the couch, but instead, the cat comes to sit on his lap, almost as if it could sense his distress. Stroking Terry, Peter thinks that he was really thankful that Tony decided to get him a cat. It gave him something to care for, just like his plants do. Speaking of which, he should probably check on them. Maybe when he was fully healed, he'll go back to the park and try his luck again. For now, however, he'll try to focus on healing himself enough and keeping his plants and cat, in the process, himself, alive for another day. One day at a time.